Don't look now, but the basketball Ole Miss Rebels, they're getting hot. We're going to bring in Tim Thomas and talk all about it.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast, the most watched Ole Miss podcast around. I am your host, Stephen Willis, a 10-year veteran member of the national media with Yahoo Sports and a former Ole Miss staff member as well. We're going to bring in Tim Thomas to talk about the Ole Miss buzzer-beating win against the Georgia Bulldogs. That's 2 in a row. The Rebels are kind of starting to drift towards getting hot. We will talk all about that before they go down to Mississippi State tomorrow. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Now it's the number one podcast network out there, and that's all thanks to you. So thank you very much for that. We're going to talk about the Georgia game. We're going to talk about the Mississippi State game, and we're going to have a refresher course a little bit on basketball. I know we've been all in on football over the last month or so. Now we get a chance to get to know this basketball team as well. All this and more on today's Locked On Ole Miss podcast. Remember, we're free and available on all the podcast apps and on YouTube. And a special hello to the insiders and everydayers who make this show what it is, and that is your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The college football playoff is here, and FanDuel is the best place to get in on the action all playoff long. So visit FanDuel.com to get in on the college football playoff profit boost action every single game day. All right, Tim. That was an exciting game. My takeaways with it, listen, everybody knows I've been honest about it. We've been all in with football over the last month or so. So we have not seen the emergence of Patton Pinkins, and the jump he has made from where we last paid attention to what we're seeing right now is absolutely insane. This kid's a special player.
Yeah, he's got the potential to be a star for sure in the SEC. Plays well, plays confident, got a beautiful shot, goes to the board, rebounds, plays defense, everything Beard asking. Of course, he gets it from his father, one of the assistant coach, Al Pinkins, but he's got a chance to be a star, and we need him every game. He made a great play the other night against Georgia, the foot back in to win the game. That was huge on the road.
Yeah, buzzer beaters are always fun, especially in that game, because I'm going to be honest. I didn't know what to expect when you see Georgia. I know what to expect when I see a Mike White team because I've seen those before. But this Georgia team, they're good. They're legitimately good. They have a style of play. They know what they are. So Ole Miss was kind of up against it. Everybody was shooting threes like absolutely crazy. It had to be giving Chris Beard an ulcer from what he saw in the game. And Ole Miss just gutted it out, kept fighting. AJ Storr looks like prime AJ Storr basically right now, and he's kind of turning into a volume shooter. Malik Diaz not really having the same role from night to night that you would like to see, but him and Storr and Patton Pinkins and Corey Chest is kind of the big man du jour that you see on the floor because Chris Beard just occasionally likes going small. All in all, listen, a win's a win. Everybody's going to be excited about that. But there's stuff besides just winning the game that you should be excited about.
Yeah, they're starting to play somewhat like last year's team. Just to be honest, the last month it's been hard on me. I tell you, it's been hard on any basketball Rebels. So we had so many chances at St. John's and North Carolina State and several other games. We were right there. We just couldn't. And some of the games we didn't. We got blown out some of those games. It was disheartening for me. And the effort, the culture was just not happening. And Beard said it. He said, I've never been in this position in my 30 years of coaching. These kids just were not playing together. They were not playing hard. They were sloppy. The lackadaisical effort, it was just not good. But the last couple of games against Missouri at home, and then this last game with Georgia, it has me kind of pepped up, kind of like, hey, let's get with it. Here we go. Don't let the Rebs get hot, as you said. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, Storr, he's a difference maker. Him and Deere and Carmodine, they got Dia, sorry, and Carmodine, they got to make it happen. Comberdine has got to be the assist, but he's got to be the point guard. He's got to lead this team. He's got to be the captain. We need leaders. That's what we've been looking for, leadership. And with him and Dia at times and Storr at times, and then Pinkins coming in and making a big difference. And Chess has done really well on the board. So proud of him.
Yeah, the funny thing is, for the last couple of years, we kept talking about how Ole Miss didn't have a Batman, somebody that they could just turn to, that whenever you needed a bucket, who's going to get you a bucket? This team has a Batman. It's about getting the role players that Ole Miss had all over the court in previous years kind of comfortable in what they're doing, right?
Yeah, we had Badula last year, very specific guy. We knew who the guy was. This year, we're struggling a little bit to know who the Batman is from game to game. Storr was the one last night, and Pinkins is doing his part. And Dia can be really, really good. Him and Beard are not seeing eye to eye. I don't know if he's in the doghouse and the puppy house, but things are not well there. It's mainly on the defensive end. The hustle last night. Georgia's a transition. They have to get back and forth. They get back and forth quick. You got to get back with them. And I think one time Deal was kind of backpedaling backwards, and he wasn't running back like he needed to be. And to be honest, he was kind of talking a little bit to the Georgia player a little bit too much. He needs to just play. He don't need to act like it's his first rodeo, and he needs to be playing hard and just quit all that stuff and play hard. But Beard put him on the bench for the last 16 minutes, and he didn't see the light of day. So maybe that'll wake him up. But we played well without him, probably better. Seemed like Storr took over. Pinkins did his thing at the end, and so glad to see Travis Berry knock a few in. Man, has he got a beautiful shot. I hope he continues that the rest of the year. We need him to do that for us to be legitimate in the SEC run.
Yeah, whenever Perry is doing that, whenever Ole Miss is shooting well from the outside, it keeps the defense from being able to compress down on the big. So the offense as a whole is going to be better when Travis Perry is doing his thing, right?
Oh yeah, he a couple of times he'd go down to take the ball. They were covering him up, and he's not the greatest athlete in the world. He's kind of short. Because the other guys are mostly like 6'5", so he has to really work his way. People have to set picks for him, and he would go down to the paint and he'd throw it out and get someone that had covered him, but then to go over and get open. So as long as he's got 2 or 3 feet ahead of him, he can really make it look good. His shot was pretty. I was glad to see it. So proud of him. But let's talk about Pinkins a minute. Oh man, freshman, just you could see it coming all year long, all year long. Even though we were losing several of those games, you could see it coming. You see his confidence building, and he has a beautiful shot, really beautiful shot from the corner, and plays hard, plays tough. He was on the board. That's how he got the tip in. He was knocking the ball against the backboard, and it came back to him, and then to let go of just in time. Right the last second. I wasn't sure for a second there if it was in time, but so glad we needed that W bad. Beard said it, we competed on the boards. We didn't have many turnovers. We had 9 turnovers, and everybody played hard in a positive way, and that's what we got to have from here on out.
Yeah, you talk about Patton Pinkins. It's one of those things. We always like to make jokes about coaches' sons and basketball IQ and all of that stuff. That was an unbelievably heady play because he knew exactly how much time he had. He kind of short-armed that last shot up, just kind of got it up in the air because he knew that everything was winding down. And even in that scenario where he's banging the ball against the glass and all that, he had basically the knowledge of everything going on outside to make sure that he was still going to make a smart basketball play. And that is unbelievable to see from a true freshman.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing. He knew what time was left on the clock. I don't know how he knew it, but he knew it because he didn't do a full shot. He just kind of jumped it back in there. So good to see it
was
go
almost
down
like
in
a volleyball set.
Yeah. I loved what I liked was after he went in and we knew we won. You see the little trail, they're all trailing him to get high fives or congratulate him after the shot. That's a really big, as you well know in teams, you've covered sports and you know sports, play sports. That's big. They were all wanting to congratulate him. It was on TV and ESPN and Van Pelt, all of them. They were running around chasing him. So that was good to see that the culture is coming together, the team is coming together. Beard finally has them coming together. I think they had a little party in the dressing room after the game. I think it was a party. I think it was water. I don't know. Maybe in champagne. I don't know. But whatever, they were dousing beer pretty heavily. And it was good to see that this team has finally come together. And now we got to go on the road several times. We got to go to state this Saturday. So there's several games away. We got to really stand up, and we can do it. We showed it last night against Georgia.
Yeah, and when we come back, we're going to start having the three-letter conversation. We're talking about the net, what's going on, and the game in Starkville. That's always going to be a tough game for Ole Miss to play down in the hump. We will talk about that with Tim Thomas right after this. The college football playoff is here, and FanDuel has given customers no more ways to get in on the action every single game of the playoffs. Because right now, every college football playoff game is game day. FanDuel users can get a profit boost waiting for them on the app every day. Here's what I love about it. You use Profit Boost on your bets that you already feel good about. You either ride with the favorite, right, when you think they're going to carry the matchup, or maybe you take a shot on the underdog if you feel an upset coming. Or just simply build a parlay around players and moments that you think decide the game. Then you apply the Profit Boost to go after even bigger winnings. And when you win, FanDuel pays out instantly, which is perfect for playoff football. FanDuel is the best place to get in on the action all playoff long. So visit FanDuel.com to get your college football playoff profit boost every single game day. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, and comment on the video. Subscribe to the podcast on whichever audio podcatcher you're listening to and give it a 5-star review. It costs absolutely nothing, but it helps keep all of this for free. And thank you for making Locked On Ole Miss your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network in the country. That's all on you. You already live your team every single day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Ole Miss with no interruptions, members-only Discord access, and more, all for just $5 a month or $50 per year. Go to lockedonolemiss.supercast.com or check the link down in the show notes below to learn more. All right, Tim, one thing that's interesting coming up, Ole Miss has a game in Starkville. We always know it doesn't matter. Whenever the games in Oxford take Ole Miss, the games in Starkville take Mississippi State. That's the way this thing has played out for a decade at this point. If Ole Miss can go down to Starkville and get a win and somehow, against all odds, end up 3-2 in the Southeastern Conference after 5 games, I think then we start talking about the net ranking, because right now, according to this morning, Ole Miss is like 82nd in the net. Now, there's still a ways for them to go, but if they keep getting quad 1 wins, they're going to climb that list.
Yeah, we got to win all our home games. We got to win all our home games. And then we need to get 2 or 3 more of these road games, these big-time road games. We got to get several of them. That's where the net would increase and better for us to get in the tournament. That's the goal. No matter how bad we looked the last month, the goal is to get the NCAA tournament. No other goal out there. Right now, we just want to get in it. But Mississippi State, they're gettable. There ain't no doubt. They have the Chris Jans, coach, of course, is the coach and one of the best player who actually signed with Ole Miss back several years ago, Josh Hubbard. He's a real deal. He can really play, but they don't have that tremendous team that they've had in the past. They don't have all those great guys inside and shooters outside. It's not there. We're definitely gettable. So if we could play anywhere close to what we did against Georgia, I believe we got a chance. But we got to win some more away games. You know, we lost several games, those games against, like I talked about, St. John's and ones. We just needed to get one of those. We just couldn't get it. So now we got to win some away games to really boost our net.
Yeah, I think that tournament in Palm Springs is the real regret, because they lost 2 games by a combined like 6 points or something like that. And if you'd have gotten one of those games, all of a sudden that makes a completely different resume story if you have a win over Iowa or a win over Utah, right?
Yeah, that's bad. In the other games, we just couldn't pull the trigger. We just couldn't win. We just wasn't playing together well. Whatever reason, and Beard's, he gets paid the $6 million to figure it out, and he's worked on it. I think last night I saw the interview with Holloway, and he seemed really happy. His shirt was all drenched with water or whatever it was, and he was happy. You could tell that all this work that him and assistant coaches have put in seems to be working, but it's got to keep going. It can't just be a couple of games. We got to go down to Starkville and show them who's who. We got to make it happen. I believe we will. I was really impressed by the team. I've been kind of down and out, as I said, but right now I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good that we'll win, and we just got to keep on stacking wins, as the football players say.
Yeah, one thing that is interesting for Ole Miss right now is we always talk about stacking wins, just like you just said. Yeah, Mississippi State on Saturday, and everybody knows that'll be difficult. Then you have, what is it, a week off or something like? No, Wednesday night, Auburn at home. That's another team that is gettable. This is not the Auburn team that they had a year ago. Then you have Kentucky at Rupp Arena, which
that's gettable. That's
gettable. But Rupp and Ole Miss there's weird ghost on that floor all the time. I mean, I've thought Ole Miss had the better team going up to Rupp Arena many times, and Ole Miss walked away with a 30-point loss for whatever reason. It's kind of like playing Alabama in football. But the point is, this Ole Miss team, over the next 3 games, they have a chance to go on a run that maybe 2 months ago we thought was going to be more difficult than this is, even with what happened in December.
Yeah, we just got through beating Missouri a few days ago, and they beat Kentucky at Lexington. They also beat Florida. So there's no great dynamic teams this year. I'm here to say I think Florida's kind of coming on a little bit, and Alabama's good, and Vanderbilt, they were undefeated, got beat the other night. So there's teams out there that we got to beat some of these big name, great record Vandy's, Bama, Kentucky. We got to beat these big name Florida if we could get them. We got to beat some of those guys away from home would be best to really up our net. And I believe we can. I believe we will. We'll see what happens. But if the guys will play together, if they'll get their stuff together like they did the other night against Georgia, it can be done. I see it happening.
All right, when we come back, we will actually get Tim's thoughts on the playoff run and all that, because it's been a while since we've talked to him as well. We're talking with Tim Thomas, former Ole Miss player, right here on the Locked On Ole Miss podcast, so stick around. All right, Tim, it's interesting. This has been an unbelievable football run that they went on. They were 19 seconds away from advancing to the national title game. I don't know if there's a fan out there that could find anything wrong. You can nitpick about the course of a game, but I'm talking about this season as a whole. I don't know if anybody can really find fault at what's going on. They played great. Even with everything that went on, Ole Miss found their coach in Pete Golding. They're doing what they need to do in the transfer portal. And the main thing that I'm going to come back to, it was Pete Golding that made Kirby Smart flinch, not vice versa. And that was Pete Golding's second game. So I do think that we can hold our head up high with what happened this year.
Yeah, I was really proud to be an Ole Miss Rebel during that run there with Pete Golding. Really proud of him. He done well. Some of his post-game and pre-game interviews a little spicy sometimes, but it's him. That's what Pete is. That's what he's about. And we won't talk very much about the narcissists that left, but let's talk about what's coming forward. And I was so proud. They took care of Tulane in a great way, and then the Georgia game in a great way. The end, you just never knew what was going to happen exactly at the end. But we got a great quarterback. I hope he gets to come back, Lord willing. The running back Lacey, so proud of him, and we got. I've been keeping up with the portal. We got some great players coming in. We're going up there. I think top 10 for sure, no matter what happens with the quarterback tonight. Kid also we got. But like you, I'm really proud of this team. I wish they would have called that PI towards the end. They didn't. I know they normally don't. I don't understand why. But my opinion, playing basketball, the first play, if it's a penalty, it's a penalty the last play. But I understand what they say, how they do that. I don't agree with it. I don't understand it. But I guess everybody's beat that dead horse a few times. But so proud of those guys. So proud of what Golden's doing in the portal. And I think things going to be bigger and better next year.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with where they could go. I think that should Trinidad get his waiver, which all signs are pointing to him getting that waiver at this point, and that isn't the NCAA doing, it's the fact that legal wise getting into the court. But I think at that point, Trinidad Chambliss is a favorite for the Heisman Trophy. Ole Miss is a top 5 team. And you're not just talking about playoff potentially for 2026. You're talking about winning the whole thing. And that makes me pretty excited because honestly, Tim, what people don't know is this football team is genuinely good, like with depth and all of that. It was constructed very well by Lane, even though he did what he did. He did put together a good team, and now it's on Pete Golding to just keep the Ferrari on the road. Don't wreck the Ferrari, and you're going to be fine.
Yeah, so far so good. The times I got to hear him speak, I was really impressed about what he was saying. It's all team, team, team. It's not about Twitter, other than the shark, but he's not worried about all of whatever's going on in the whole world, controlling the whole world. So good to see that. But like you said, the recruiting has been great. The portal's been great, and he's got a great coaches around him are good, so he's got a good chance. I feel like we're going to go do as good or better next year. I feel that I'm that confident in Pete Golden.
Yeah, and the portal closes tonight. This is Friday at midnight, so you don't have to worry about it. People leaving, retention at that point. At that point, it's all about acquisition, and you can start bringing in players as well on the other side. It should be pretty interesting. Tim, what do you got going on this weekend, buddy?
I'm gonna check out the Rebels down in Starkville, Stars Vegas. They called it. I'm not sure why. When I was down there, it was not a Stars Vegas, Start Vegas, but
that is called
it
an
is what it is.
ironic name.
Yeah,
An ironic
okay,
name.
okay, maybe okay. I got to play on words a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. I was really down on this team. I texted Steven one time and I said we were talking about doing a show during the week or something during this football run, and I said I ain't really got anything nice to say. So I think it'd be better off us just to take a little break. I needed a break. Beard needed a break. We all needed a break, but it was so good to follow this football team as far as they went. Now I could see them going to the national championship and win it. So maybe next year.
Exactly. Anyway, Tim, thank you very much, and we'll talk to you next week, bub.
All right. Howdy toddy, guys.
Howdy toddy. Thank you for tuning in today on the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. We're going to continue to talk portal and all of that, the basketball run as the team improves, all of that stuff this month on the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. So make sure you subscribe and follow the show so you can get all of the latest episodes. We're on all of the social channels as well. Be one of the first to join the Everydayer Club to get your favorite show ad-free and exclusive access to the members-only Discord. For those of you on video, we're going to send you on over to the 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you find a second listen, either Locked On College Football, Locked On SEC. They're very good. Hotty toddy, everybody. Remember, once the clock strikes midnight tonight, you're no longer worrying about retention, and it's all about acquisition. We're still transfer portaling, so that should be a lot of fun. So stick around for that. Hotty toddy.